Furman and Channel roads. No homes were threatened by the blaze. Firefighters will be in the area for the next several hours working on strengthening containment lines and putting out the hot spots. A smaller second blaze, the Red Fire, was reported about 6 p.m. 5 miles away from the Herman Fire. That blaze reported about 6 p.m. near Interstate Highway 80, and Lynch Road in Cordelia has been held to about 2 acres. And just ahead on KCBS,
I'm David Welch. Oakland officials point to city events as a contributor to lower homicide rates.
Traffic and weather together on the 8th at 12:08. Good morning, Carolyn Burns. How's it looking out there?
And good morning to you, Elise. We're going to start out in that San Francisco area. The Cesar Chavez on-ramp to southbound 101. We do have reports now of a motorcycle accident. It may be off onto the right-hand lane, and it may be on that on-ramp. Really not a lot of clear details just yet. CHP has arrived on scene, and they are trying to get a tow truck on scene as well. Right now, they're still just trying to find the motorcycle rider. So we will stay on top of this. Now in the South Bay, in Hayward, northbound 238, this is just after Mission Boulevard there. Apparently a vehicle possibly has caught on fire. It's off onto the right-hand shoulder. CHP has arrived, and they are asking for fire crews to arrive on scene. And in the South Bay, in San Jose, southbound 101, right after Hellier Avenue, a car that crashed into the center divider, blocking that left-hand lane. Well, it's been quickly pushed off to the right shoulder, and right now it looks like traffic is just absolutely zipping past the scene. Your next traffic update is at 12:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Carolyn. Coastal bay fog this morning, partly cloudy skies inland, breezy and lows in the 50s. Turning sunny today after the morning overcast burns off mostly to the coast. Not quite. Highs from the 60s at the beaches, 70s and 80s around the bay, to the upper 80s and low 90s inland. That coastal flood advisory goes until 2 a.m. for the king tide. Just one more morning, I think, of high tides, really extremely high tides. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
A bad team facing a good team is never completely out of it.
Nick Costos, co-host of You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the BetQL network.
There's 162 games in the season. The best teams are going to lose 60-plus times, and the worst teams are going to win 60-plus times. Each night is its own individual entity. That's what makes betting on the baseball regular season so much fun.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to You Better You Bet with Nick Costos and Ken Barkley, streaming weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Left, right, up, down, state lines to winding coastlines. Whether you come home to a crowded city street, tree-lined suburb, or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. And we all share in the responsibility to create beauty that ripples from one neighborhood to another and one block to the next. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people just like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify our communities. Because every mindful action and sustainable habit has a positive impact, and it all adds up. Learn how you can join Keep America Beautiful at KAB.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
KCBS News Time, 12:11. The city of Oakland has seen a 24% drop in shootings and homicide compared to last year at this time. Those numbers are a drop from historically high levels last year. Oakland's mayor is pointing to the return of city-sponsored activities as a big contributor. KCBS's David Welch explains.
Mayor Libby Schaaf says she'd like to see Oakland's homicide statistics lower than they are now.
Even with a 24% reduction in shootings and homicides combined, that still has left us with far too much harm and death.
She says city-sponsored events are helping the city get there.
It does show that when we are able to bring back what we know works, and that is the ceasefire strategy in Oakland, a holistic approach.
Schaaf points to events like Oakland's Town Nights, which is new this year.
These are positive, family-friendly events at 9 different locations throughout the city. one in every community that has been most impacted by crime and violence.
And she says the city tries hard to make sure they're attracting residents of all ages.
Free massages at one last week, and then there's even been basketball tournaments where the winning team gets a $1,000 cash prize.
You know one, David Welch, KCBS.
And if you recently recovered from COVID-19, you may feel like you can let your guard down a little bit more than usual. But as KCBS's Kathy Novak reports, that's probably not a good idea as the BA.5 variant becomes more dominant.
It's not an exact science, but the general thinking was that if you recently had COVID, your natural immunity would protect you from getting reinfected for about 3 months. But UCSF infectious disease expert Dr. Peter Chin Hong says it's time to rethink that.
Because it's BA.5 taking over, if you got infected a few weeks ago, it was likely BA.2 or BA.2.12.1, and BA.5 is notorious. Its superpower is reinfection. So maybe you can get reinfected in about 4 weeks.
He says the prevalence of the highly transmissible variant makes it even more important for people over 50 to get their second booster shot. It helps protect against getting seriously ill and may help prevent infection for at least a few weeks.
If you top your antibodies off, sure, it's not 100% guaranteed, particularly in a BA.5 era, but you do have more protection compared to somebody who's not boosted.
Tune in to As Prescribed at 1:30 p.m. to hear more. Kathy Novak, KCBS.
And San Francisco's General's monkeypox clinic has closed for the week after giving out its last 50 doses of the vaccine today. The city's Department of Public Health says the city was initially given about 2,300 monkeypox vaccines last week, and it has requested 35,000 doses from federal supplies to protect communities vulnerable to the virus. Officials say the clinic will be closed for the rest of the week or until its supplies are replenished. Monkeypox can spread to anyone, but it has been particularly active among the city's LGBTQ population recently. As of yesterday, San Francisco currently has 68 known cases of monkeypox. And Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of Theranos, has had her sentencing date changed from September 26th to October 17th. The Mercury News reports court documents the new sentencing date, but give no reason as to why the schedule changed. Holmes was convicted in January of defrauding investors of more than $140 million, though through claims her now defunct company was on the verge of revolutionizing blood testing. She was convicted of 4 wire fraud charges, each of which carries a potential 20-year sentence. Sunny Balwani, who was CEO of Theranos and one-time romantic partner of Holmes, was convicted on 12 fraud counts earlier this month. And coming up on KCBS.
I'm Michael Wald. Governor Newsom again sounds off against red states while accepting an award for education policy in Washington, D.C.
KCBS News Time, 12:15. Let's head over to the sports desk. The A's were at the Texas Rangers last night. Just took that one 5-2, and the A's are off today. The Giants host the Milwaukee Brewers at 6:45 today, and they finished off their series with the Diamondbacks yesterday with a win. Here's John Atkinson.
4 wins now in their past 5 games for the Giants, who are starting to trend back upwards after a couple tough weeks. San Francisco on Wednesday rallied from a 3-0 deficit to beat Arizona 4-3. Brandon Belt homered in the 7th inning to start the rally, then scored the winning run in the bottom of the 9th on a Brandon Crawford base hit. Wilmer Flores contributed with his 8th career pinch hit home run, and David Villar had an RBI and a crucial 9th inning walk that set up the Crawford game winner. A couple other games of note around the majors on Wednesday afternoon. Seattle beat Washington 6-4 in the first of a doubleheader. Mariners 9 straight victories for the first time in 19 years. And Kansas City beat Detroit 5-2. The Royals wrap up a 5-2 homestand, their first winning homestand since July of last year. College basketball will mark this fall's Veterans Day holiday in a big way, featuring Gonzaga and Michigan State in a matchup on November 11th. The game will be played on the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln at Naval Air Station North Island in Coronado. That's across the bay from downtown San Diego. The Abraham Lincoln, currently on deployment, is due back in port later in the summer for preparations of the game. At the sports desk, John Atkinson, KCBS.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
It is traffic and weather together on the 8th, 12:18. How is the early morning traffic, Carolyn?
We have a few incidents to let you know about. We'll start out in San Francisco, southbound 101 at that Cesar Chavez on-ramp. This is an accident involving a motorcycle. The motorcycle is down. They're still looking for the actual rider itself. It's really not creating too much of a backup for traffic, though, in the main lanes. CHP has arrived on scene. Also in the East Bay, northbound 238, just after Mission Boulevard, we had a car apparently that caught on fire. It's on the right-hand shoulder. Looks like CHP is there, and fire crews should be arriving on scene there shortly. In the Dixon area, westbound 80, just after Dixon Avenue, we had a semi-truck, and apparently its right rear brakes were on fire. Now, CHP and fire crews are already on scene. Looks like they're getting that. Everything is off onto that right-hand shoulder there, but you may experience a few delays because of everybody slowing down. So take a look at what happened. Your next traffic update is at 12:28 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Coastal and Bay fog this morning, partly cloudy skies inland. It'll be breezy today. Lows of the 50s, turning sunny today through Sunday after morning overcast. I think it's just our usual July. Highs from the 60s at the beaches, 70s and 80s around the bay to the upper 80s and some low 90s today. Continued sunny Monday, Tuesday with coastal fog nights and mornings. Only limited afternoon clearing along the coast. Highs from the 60s to the upper 80s. Right now it's 59 in Oakland. It's 57 in San Francisco. Partly cloudy in San Jose Airport, 63, 56 in Santa Rosa, and clear skies. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time at 12:20. Governor Newsom was in Washington, D.C. yesterday to accept an award for California's education policy. KCBS's Mike DeWald reports the governor used the opportunity continue his war of words against the red states.
Declaring that education is under assault in America, Governor Gavin Newsom used his time accepting an award from the Education Commission of the states to push back on the education policies in red states. Saying that the right to free speech is on the line, Newsom decried the push to ban books in some states. More than 1,500 books have been banned in the past year.
In the United States of America, 2022, where a children's book from Sonia Sotomayor needs to be banned. What kind of country is this? Where that's not called out. Who have we become?
It had the feel of a campaign speech. Newsom called out Texas as well as Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis for the state's so-called Don't Say Gay bill.
What the hell's going on in this country? Can't wear a rainbow lanyard? I can put up a picture of my spouse without any repercussions? But one or two of Bob's 12 views can't put up a picture of your spouse of the same sex because they could just invite controversy.
Earlier in the day, met with First Lady Jill Biden at the White House. Mike DeWald, KCBS.
And while technology can be convenient while you drive, it can also be too convenient for thieves. KCBS's Brett Burkhardt reports criminals are now targeting your key fob.
Auto shops around the U.S. are reporting an increase in victims asking for help in reprogramming their key fobs for their recovered car because thieves remotely rip off the radio waves the fob emits.
Just as technology evolves, so does the techniques for stealing.
John Kane is the founder and president of Safety Research and Strategies, a vehicle safety research and advocacy firm based in Washington, D.C. He tells KCBS, unfortunately, the tools are readily available to thieves.
You know, the radio frequency devices you can grab. There's different software tools you can use.
He says the thieves just need to be close to your key fob for the programmer to pick up and reproduce its signal.
You know, when you have a keyless ignition, it's just opening up new windows
to steal in different ways.
But there are ways to protect yourself.
Putting the fob in a secure Faraday bag, a little bag that you can purchase online, or you can put the key in that'll protect the radio waves. You can also, those fobs allow you to turn them off.
Brett Burkhart, KCBS.
And a person died from a fire early Wednesday morning on a boat at the Berkeley Marina. Berkeley firefighters and police officers responded at 12:38 a.m. following a report of a boat fire near Marina Boulevard at the Virginia Street Extension Road. The victim was pulled from the water before paramedics arrived, and CPR was underway. Paramedics took over the life-saving efforts, and firefighters put out the fire. The victim was taken to a trauma center and died there, according to police. An investigation has begun involving the arson and bomb unit of CAL FIRE's office, of the State Fire Marshal, and the Alameda County Coroner's Bureau. And Sonoma County Regional Parks Department officials have closed a half-mile-long section of the popular Joe Rodota bicycle and pedestrian trail, which links Santa Rosa with Sebastopol. KCBS's Jeffrey Schaub reports for the second time in 2 years, a homeless encampment has forced the closure.
Crews began erecting chain link fencing on either side of the paved trail over the weekend, telling KCBS they cannot forcibly remove the 20 to 50 campers because neither Santa Rosa or the county have shelter beds available.
It's the no-win situation.
This avid cyclist uses the trail all the time.
Morally, I feel bad, but I also feel like it's really unfair to the rest of it.
Steve Einstein is a cyclist. I was playing tennis this morning. My tennis partner said that he was on the Joe Rodota Trail, and he stopped to receive a text, or take a text. And he says was verbally accosted by a camper who told him to leave.
And later he told me, just to say these people were harassing me, or at least one individual was. But you want to know what I really think? Big deal. Big deal. Come on.
The guy maybe thinks that, people were taking pictures of him. County Parks officials have no current plans to reopen
reported the biggest annual increase in retail inflation since 1981. We get another report, this time on June wholesale prices. Analysts are forecasting a double-digit year-over-year gain, 10.7%. That would actually be a touch lower than the May increase of 10.8%. Stocks are coming off a down day after the government said consumer prices last month were up more than 9% from a year ago. Biggest increase since 1981 sent the Dow down more than 0.5%. The S&P and NASDAQ showed smaller losses. The start of second quarter earnings season will also keep investors busy. J.P. Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley kick things off. They open their books ahead of the opening. Analysts say a decline in deal making will weigh on profits. Interest income is expected to get a boost from rising rates. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
There's magic in the world.
People will tell you there isn't.
They just want you to get back to work
Be quiet.
and not ask questions.
Those people need 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
When you've seen the magic,
And felt the magic.
you can no longer deny the magic.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And now we pause for a word from Charlotte, the junk theory. A friend is a person who always brings a little magic with them. Be a friend. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Never miss a headline. Never miss a story. Never miss the news.
A little bit more information about that vegetation fire.
Download the Odyssey app and favorite KCBS. Stream the Bay Area's news station whenever and wherever.
We are now getting word from the sheriff's office that door-to-door evacuations are taking place at
AUDACY and favorite KCBS. For a smarter start to your day.
Start with us. Stream KCBS for news, traffic, weather, business, and more. Tell your smart speakers to play KCBS Radio. We are the Bay Area's news station. KCBS.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on KCBS. It is 12:28, and we are going to the roadways with Carolyn Byrne.
And we head out to the south.